And now we're over a year into the coronavirus pandemic. And if there's one thing that the world is learning the hard way, it's that a new global framework for dealing with infectious diseases must be drafted, especially as the spread of the disease as the spread of a disease just as deadly or deadlier is a matter of time away. And the world seems to be looking at Israel now for many of the answers. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Monday pushing for world powers to come together on a global pandemic treaty. This in order to ensure the transparency necessary to better understand the current COVID-19 pandemic and to hopefully prevent the next zoonotic crisis.
Alistair, I think what the world needs to see is a general agreement on how we track data surrounding zoonotic pandemics. We want zoonotic research hubs around the world, and we want a general agreement on transparency.
But meanwhile, Israel's already working with global partners to bring the pandemic to an end, and world leaders are taking note. The UK's chief medical officer, Chris Whitty, for one, looking to Israel as a case study for guiding virus policy. Likewise, international media outlets are praising Israel's outcomes, such as reducing infections among the vaccinated to well below 1%. The BBC and CNN, among others, for example, writing that the Israeli campaign shows that the vaccines are performing just as well in larger populations as they did in clinical trials. Israel leading the world for vaccinations per capita, having already given nearly 4 million people one of the 2 vaccine doses and nearly 2.6 million people both. Additionally, Israel has been towards the front in developing treatments and other virus-related advancements in partnership with other nations. For example, the new cooperation between Greek and Israeli hospitals in testing a new treatment for those already infected with COVID-19. And similarly, Prime Minister Netanyahu announcing partnerships with Colombia, the UAE, the United States, the Netherlands, and more, including most recently pending negotiations to build 2 vaccine production plants in Israel for Moderna and Pfizer. The plan being to turn Israel into a global vaccine manufacturing center for the world.